Okay, Crown Jewel has come and gone. We are done. But let's put this in perspective. What did we really get in this show? Did we get something that was groundbreaking? No. Did we get good fans and good participation from fans? Mostly yes. There were some points where they just cold. Did we get a lot of advertisement from the Saudi prince's kingdom? Hell yeah. Saudi Air. They did an advertisement with 4 wrestlers talking about Saudi Air, including our boy LA Knight. This was a lot of propaganda, which is understandable. They're flipping the bill. If they say you got to do commercials, they're going to do it. But did we get something groundbreaking here? No, we got one return. We got one turnover for a championship. We got an okay match that was across the board okay, generally speaking. I will not tell you that all the matches were crap. They were not. They were all okay. Some of them were very good. Others were okay. Opening on the kickoff, we got a we go from having him being the Irish ace, the dragon, not the red dragon of Dragunov, but the dragon, and the J.D. McDonough to this version. And even though Michael Cole called him the Irish ace, he doesn't feel like it. J.D. McDonough used to be so vicious, so destructive, so evil. And now what is he? A lackey for Judgment Day. He doesn't feel like anything. He doesn't feel like J.D. McDonough. Now, everybody will say, well, they got to change him around, do they? We're talking about the new era of WWE where people from NXT do not need to be stripped naked of their developed characters. But when you look at J.D. McDonough, that's what exactly happened. He used to be so vicious, evil, a killer, and he's nothing but a joke here. This was not about him winning the match. This was about getting Sami Zayn as much pops as possible because he is originally born in the Middle East. His heritage comes from the Middle East. Was he born in the Middle East or was he born in Canada? I don't remember where he was born. I don't remember where he was born. I think he was born in Canada. His parents migrated there. But essentially speaking, since he is from the Middle East and they've embraced him, even if he's not from Saudi Arabia, he was from another country. I don't remember which one it is. But essentially, they've embraced him as one of their own. And that's a good thing to see for a Sami Zayn. But I don't remember if he occurred. I don't remember I don't believe he's not Iraqi. He's not Iranian. I think he's a Kurdish. I think. I can't remember. But essentially, they've embraced him no matter, even though he's not Saudi Arabian. And that's a good thing to see. But this was about him getting over and making J.D. McDonough job his ass out again. Opening of the main card, which was, I think, next to the main event, had the second best story because of what happened with Drew and the pandemic. I remember watching the pandemic, even though, I won't lie to you guys, I was going through a lot at that time. I just gotten 2 teeth removed. And the stress of the pandemic really made my anxiety and depression really bad. So bad, in fact, I was so stressed out, I had to go to the hospital because of stress. So, even though that happened, I was able to see don't worry, it was early in the beginning of 2020. It was not during the time of Crown Jewel. But that time, I can understand why Drew feels so frustrated because he literally won his championship and there was no one there. If you do not understand how wrestlers work, they need to feed off the crowd so they don't feel pain, so they can feel excitement themselves because they get a rush out of it as well. They love performing in front of people. But when you're performing in front of nobody, you don't feel that rush. You don't feel, well, when you wrestle, you get adrenaline rush. There is none. During that time, no one was feeling any rush. They felt nothing. So they were feeling a lot more aches, a lot more pains, and they felt sad because there was just no one there. So I understand why what the story for Drew is. And this match reflected it. It was a very good match. But I did believe that Drew was not going to win here. I didn't think he was going to win. And look what happened. Drew lost. And then Damian Priest tried to cash in, but guess who stopped him? It was Sammy, and he grabbed the briefcase. Damian lost his Money in the Bank briefcase because Sammy took it. Now, mind you, it's a possibility that Sammy will have to return it, or Damian's going to chase after him to regain his briefcase or beat the crap out of him until he gets it. So that's going to be a question what we're going to get for this coming Raw and the subsequent Raws if Sammy is still not able to get caught and they won't make him return it. Well, let me give it to you like this. Adam Pearce is going to either tell him to give it back or he's not going to do anything and Sammy will still be running around with it. I'm just saying. Okay, second match. The Women's World Championship. Fatal 5-way match. I'm not going to say the match was bad because it wasn't. It was okay. But I'm still worried because in many cases, you know who gets hurt. You know who causes the hurt. And that's Nia Jax. Nia Jax in that match with Shayna Baszler, Zoe Starks, Rhea Ripley, and Raquel Rodriguez. I am worried. I'm telling you now, I was worried that Nia Jax was going to hurt somebody. Okay? I don't hate Nia. She's probably a wonderful woman in real life. She's not a bad-looking woman. She's got a damn good-looking face. And yes, she's chunky, but who don't care about chunkiness as long as they're willing to let you grab and you're willing to grab back? Who cares if she's not skinny? I don't care. She looks good. She's thick, like most men and women would like. Who cares? But taking away from her looking actually a good-looking woman means nothing when she's hurt multiple women over the years and she's never learned anything. I don't care what anybody says. She has not learned how to wrestle correctly. How many times has she hurt someone? It makes no sense. So I was worried about this match. It was not that bad. It wasn't. In the end, that last spot at the end where pretty much Zoe Stark was grabbed onto the second ring rope. You had Shayna Baszler lay down on the was it Shayna or was it Raquel? I think it was Shayna. And pretty much Rhea just pretty much riptied her on top of Shayna and she pinned her. It was nasty. Because essentially you did have Raquel as a sandwich meat. Because you had Shayna, you had Raquel, and then Zoe getting splattered on top of her. And then she rolls away and then Rhea wins. But the question now is, what next? Look, I love Shayna. I could understand if Shayna Baszler won the entire thing because she has been one of the most developed in-ring performers. I mean, she is one of the best wrestlers they got. But the problem is they never pushed her to be the best. It's always been Charlotte. It's always been Bianca. It's always been Ronda Rousey. Yes, she got something on Ronda, but that was before Ronda said, you know what? Fuck this, I'm going home. I'm going back to MMA and UFC. Because she is talking about getting back into the ring, supposedly. I don't know if she is, but she's talking about doing it. But Shayna, I could see her winning. Raquel has already had a shot to try and win. And Zoe is not ready yet. The last person that's left is Nia Jax. I don't want to see Nia. Because I've seen her before and they never push her correctly. And worse yet, Nia has a tendency to hurt people. I am hoping she didn't hurt anybody now. Making it clear. Hope she didn't hurt anybody. But this is what we got. We got Rhea retaining. And she's still over with the fans. It's understandable. Well, who now? Who's next for Rhea Ripley? Who she hasn't faced yet. Because they're not doing anything with the NXT call-ups. You're not really getting anything with Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae, Carter, Chance. Hell, since they're not following the rules of the draft, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Shotzi. Those are the only other women left she hasn't faced yet. But the question is, are they going to go there? Are they going to develop these women? Because as it stands right now, the women's division, no matter SmackDown or Raw, is just not very much there. You just had the 5 most dominant women generally in the company. Because they're not even talking about Asuka. And you know what happened with, with Io Shirai. Well, I'll get to her in a moment. Well, Io Sky. I like Shirai better. But there's almost no one that feels prominent. No one that feels important. No one that feels like they're dominant enough to be on the top of the heap. Unless you want to talk about, guess who? Charlotte. And breaking a record of her dad. In the women's position. I'm just saying. Because I think they will go there again. It looks like they're going to do it. Let's move on to the third match. Which was a surprise. For me personally, I really did think it was going to go another way. But we got John Cena, Solo Sikoa. By himself, solo. He had his moment with John. And I will not tell you that this was a bad match. It was not. John can still go in the ring. John can bring in the fans. Whether you like John Cena or not, the way he was booked years ago, at least he is doing the job. He's trying to put over younger people. He did that with the Open Challenge for the U.S. title, and he did it here. What was it? 12 Samoan spikes. 2 in the beginning, near the beginning of this, or was it the middle? So in the beginning to the middle, he got 2 Samoan spikes. Later, near the end, not only did he get another one, he got 10 more for his trouble. He got spiked so many times, and then Solo laid him out. And that was it. He could not beat Solo. Solo won the damn match like this. And talking in Samoan, whatever he was saying, I'm dominant, I'm the greatest. And I think he did say something about Umaga. My guess is he was saying, I'm as great as Umaga in Samoan maybe. But that was a surprise. John Cena has not won a match in 2017 days. Since 2018, he has not won any matches singly. Tag matches? Yeah. But single matches? No. But here's the question. You've done this. I expected when he lost this, I thought he was going to take off his sneakers, leave them in the ring, or up the ramp. I thought that, honestly. But now, the question is, what are they going to do for Raw? Is he going to take off his sneakers and leave them in the ring and walk away, or he's going to say it? My guess is it's not going to be over yet. He's going to have another challenger. I truly believe someone else is going to screw with him when he sounds like he's about to retire. And then we're going to have him have a match, either at Survivor Series, which would make the best sense. If you're going to make John Cena have a match where he's going to win, where this could be, match versus career, that's where I think it's going to be. Because the best option would be Survivor Series. He finally gets his win, and he does not retire. Unless he really does want to retire because, guess what? He's nearly my age. He's a bit younger. Of course, he's mid-40s now. He's like, 45 now? 46? He is younger than me. But essentially speaking, either he's going to do a retirement match at Survivor Series, or he's going to say something now about retirement, and then he's going to have his match that day, which will be Raw. And he will pretty much get a win, finally. Everybody will cheer him. One of them, I don't know. The U.S. title match, Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. Here's where it gets interesting. Now, we did see a Logan Paul beforehand, and he was riding since Riyadh. I believe Riyadh, that's the city, is so close to the desert. He decided to get a custom dune buggy and just go riding around, being excited, going, ah! Yeah, he did that in the video. He went, ah! If you didn't see it, I don't know if I'm putting images in here. I might not. Actually, no, I'm not going to put any images in here. Not in the mood. Because if I'm going to do Collision, I haven't eaten yet. So if I'm going to do Collision later tonight, there will be no images in here. But essentially speaking, that's what we got from him in that vid pack, showing off. And before the match happened, they showed him driving with that same dune buggy in the streets of Riyadh, going in and basically getting out of the thing, and all of the pyro going off. I'll admit it looked good. Match itself, second best match of the night. It was the second best match. I'm not going to say that Drew and Seth was the first best match. It wasn't. It could be easily the third best match. I'm being pretty objective here because I'm not going to say that match was bad. It was not bad. It was the best match with the second best story and the third best match. This was the second best. There wasn't much of a story here. Let's make it clear. But then at the end, it kind of became a story. Because by the end of it, Logan could not beat Ray. But he did a really good job. I'm not going to tell you he didn't. And I know that if Just Alex is going to be so fucking pissed. I know it. He hates Logan Paul. He respects him as a wrestler. He respects he has talent. He respects that he has charisma and the fans like him. But he does not like him personally. He doesn't. So there might be a little bit of conflict of interest when it comes to a Just Alex, who probably is streaming right now, along with JD by the time I've been filming this. Trust me, I know he could not believe he won. He'll be smiling, and he's just going to be so mad that Ray lost. He didn't expect Ray to lose. I didn't expect Ray to lose. I didn't think they would do it here, but they did. And it was mostly due to the fact that the brass knucks and one of Logan's friends who tried to do it like the last time when he dealt with Ricochet, the same situation with brass, but this time there was a mistake made. Logan dropped it. His friend tried to get it back to him. But then, as he was trying to get it, Santos Escobar jumps from the crowd, picks up the brass. He's about to chase his friend, but instead of keeping the brass in his hands, he lays it on the mat. He lays it literally on the mat. The ring skirt mat. Part of the ring skirt. And then Logan in the face. Done. And yes, after it was over, after Logan won, he said, I had to do what I had to do. And he's touching heads with Ray, saying, I love you. I had to do what I had to do. You know what you did. He said, yeah, I did. But I had to do what I had to do. I love you. Now, mind you, he did not have to do that. They're both still going with story. No problem. But when it came to Logan, did not have to legitimately say, I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do, and I love you. He didn't have to do it like that. So he was still showing some level of respect, even though he knew he had to cheat. I'll give him that. I like that little bit. The Maverick now won a title. He, because of his popularity, will bring more eyes to the product. There's just no way he won't. If you don't like Logan, fine. If you don't like what he did when he went into the Suicide Forest, you know what I mean, fine. I never liked him for what he did, but I am not going to tell you that he didn't do a great job here and that he didn't show respect to Ray and that he will not bring in more eyes and people to watch the damn product, because he will. He's just going to do it. So next, the women's WWE Undisputed title, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair. I still don't feel Bianca. I don't care about Bianca. Bianca is boring to me because she's not a heel. She needs to be a heel. She needs to be working with Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and a Bobby Lashley. I want her to now, at this point, because we could do a flip between her and Bayley. You can. Does not mean they'll go there, but this is what I'm going to explain as we start the match. Was it better than the Fatal 5-Way? Yes. Bianca and Io, they know how to do the wrestling. And the thing that got me, which I've been complaining for quite a while, which was somewhat corrected, but not really. Io Sky needed to win a match without Damage Control being there. Not Dakota, and not Bayley. She needed to win the match. I knew that Damage Control eventually would come out. But I was hoping they wouldn't, even though I knew someone was going to come out. Because Dakota didn't come out. It was Bayley. Bayley's the one that came out. Dakota stayed in the back. She's still injured, I think. Or they just don't want her in the story. But I knew sooner or later someone was going to come out. And they really needed someone not to come out. Because sooner or later you got to let Io win a match clean. Guys, How long has this woman been wrestling on the main roster and been a part of Damage Control where she has not won clean? Honestly, before Vince, now not having his creative control now, when he was in creative control, and then when he lost creative control, I have not seen Io win a match clean. She has not done it. So I don't feel like she's legitimate. She still doesn't feel legitimate, even with Kairi Sane showing up, and I'll talk about her in a minute. But she does not feel legitimate because she's not won one clean match without Damage Control by her side when it's in the clutch. Yeah, I don't feel it. I don't see it. So, by the time Bayley came out, was trying to help Io, you're pretty much, let me give it to you like this. When you see Bayley could not help Io, Kylie shows up, messes over Bianca, and pretty much gave Io the ability to be able to win over Bianca. And when you see Kylie there, and I'm not going to tell you she ain't a damn good looking woman. Let me give it to you like this. Out of all the Japanese wrestlers there, Kylie was always the most cutest one. Don't get me wrong. I love my Asuka. She's a gorgeous woman. And I saw a special on her where they talked about how she was acting as in women's wrestling in Japan. She got her ass handed to her legitimately by Miru Suzuki. She asked him to beat the living fuck out of her during a special that she set up herself because she used to book back in Japan. And they showed her in a match, a tag match. And she literally, when it was a mixed tag, she literally got the fuck kicked out of her. She asked Miru Suzuki, who is one of her favorite wrestlers, please, when we're doing this, no one believes that I can handle real beating up, really great fighting. He did not want to hurt her. He did not want to be rough with her, but she begged him to beat the stink out of her. So she could prove that to everyone that said she's a nobody, and to him that she loved wrestling, that she was inspired by him, that everyone else in women's wrestling in Japan, all the women's Sojo, they didn't do it right. That she was always right. That she's the toughest one there. And that's what she did. So, I love Asuka. When it comes to Io, I like Io. But if I look at all three of these women, who is the most good-looking woman in the face? Not saying that all of them are like, no, it's Kylie. I'm going like, let me marry you, be my wife forever, but you're not going to get it. But here's the thing. Seeing this, now what? Are you going to have Bayley be separated from Io? Are you going to have Kairi Sane join Io and Damage Control? That makes the most sense, but it does not mean Bayley's going to stay with Damage Control forever. I truly believe that either one of three things. One, Kylie will not join Damage Control, and she will get Io to leave it. That's one. Two, Kylie will join Damage Control. There will be water on the bridge when it comes to her and Bayley, and they will not act like they hate one another. And one of them wants revenge on the other. In other words, Kylie wants revenge on Bayley. The third will be part of what the second one was. Kylie will join Damage Control and basically undermine Bayley's authority in Damage Control to make her leave it, and then she will be part of Damage Control with Dakota Kai, and Bayley will turn face. That's what I think might happen, but it's just me, guys. Tell me below. Okay, Cody versus Priest. Now, I'm not going to say the match, but let me make it like this. Did I care about Priest versus Cody? No. They had nothing behind it. Nothing. They may hate one another. But I didn't really feel the hate, honestly. I don't feel the hate from Cody and Damian Priest. I just don't. Yeah, they built into it, but it doesn't feel like it. There's just nothing there. Cody feels he's floating. That's what he's doing. When he was teamed up with Jay, you could say, if you were still following the draft, that it made sense for them to have the titles because they can go to any show they want and it'll make it easier for him to deal with Roman Reigns eventually. But they made them drop them after what, a week? Not even more than a month. It was only a week. What is Cody doing? Nothing. What is Jey Uso doing? Nothing. We didn't get anything. So it doesn't feel like anything legitimate to me. Now, when it comes down to it, seeing that we had Sami Zayn help out along with Jey, because that's what happened eventually at the end of the match. Jey came out because JD McDonough came out, as well as, it wasn't Finn Balor, he wasn't there. It was JD McDonough and it was Dom that came out. And it was Sami a little bit. And I think it was Sami. Or was it just Jey by himself? I can't remember. But I think Sami was there to help. But in the end, once everybody went to the back, guess what? We clearly had Cody win. But what does that mean for Cody? There was nothing on the line. I didn't feel nothing. I didn't care. Because it's not like they're going to try and put some type of feud where it's got to be more than just losing the titles. It doesn't feel like much. Because Cody's not doing much. I would have rather had, and I know this is being prejudiced, because in wrestling, they go by stereotypes. But in this situation, I think they could have done Puerto Ricans versus Cubans. Honestly. At this point, you could have just said, or had something going on where there was some type of festival, something for Puerto Ricans, and Cody didn't understand a damn thing of it. And Damian Priest got offended that you Cubans don't know anything and says, hey, don't you start with me being Cuban. Who the hell you think you are? My heritage is important, and you could have done Cuban heritage versus Puerto Rican heritage. And you could have done something. I'm not saying you do this every time, but at least it might be something interesting where both Latin American heritages could have been used in the situation. It could have gave it more traction. Because this could have been pride of the two different cultures. Because no matter what anyone says, the Cuban culture is totally different from Puerto Rican culture. They're different. They may share the same language, don't mean a damn thing. That's what I'm saying. Final match. And, I'm not forgetting about what happened with Miz TV. Oh, I don't even know want to talk about this because it's like, what was that? Look, you got the two talk show hosts, The Miz and Grayson Waller, dealing with Abraham Al-Jahan, who's supposed to be not just one of the highest and best actors that are in Saudi Arabia, or the Middle East, I believe. But he also is a very well-known comedian in America because he did do a tour in America. He also is starring in his own movie where he wants to be a wrestler. I don't remember what the name of it is. Aham. I think it's Aham. Was it a bad segment? I don't know. It was pandering to the crowd because they wanted to have someone there other than Sami that was a homegrown boy that could get over. They used Grayson Waller for that. And pretty much, you're going to have what? Grayson Waller dealing with The Miz, seeing whose talk show is better. Now, mind you, I wouldn't mind that for Survivor Series. Building up in the Survivor Series where Grayson Waller and the Grayson Waller effect went against with Miz TV. Trying to set up who's the better talk show host. I can understand that. We don't usually do that. You don't have talk show hosts of WWE going up against one another, but you never know. I mean, let's make it clear. Finally, and this thing's almost 30 minutes long, I'm going to have to put this in two parts. I am not adding any images, guys. Before I get to Roman Reigns and LA Knight, I'm making it clear. We're at 29 minutes and 13 seconds. I will be putting this in two parts because my camera only does 30 minutes at a time. But I'm not adding images if I'm doing Collision because I'm probably going to watch Collision. I'm going to do a review of Collision and I have not eaten yet. I want to render this, upload it, and then get ready for Collision. I'm a glutton for punishment. You see how much I love wrestling. And I love you guys. I like to do my job properly. But I got to make sure I eat. Roman Reigns versus LA Knight. Crowd loved LA Knight. They did. The crowd was screaming for LA Knight. Also, the crowd was interested in Roman Reigns. But I'll tell you this. During the match, LA looked good. As I said, I've been saying this so many times. Every time when LA comes on, I have to say it when he used to be Eli Drake. From the time I saw him in Impact Wrestling, I knew the guy was special. I never understood why they never gave him the title. Never. Impact never gave him the title. They gave him the TV title, which became the Impact Grand Championship. And then they did the Impact Grand Slam. I forgot what the name of it. What was it called? I forgot. Forget it. I can't remember the name of the title. But it used to be the television title, which they retired and made it into the Grand Slam title. I think that was the name of it. And by then, he had left the company. He was there for a while, then he left. Went to NWA. He worked in, Hollywood Hollywood Wrestling. West Coast Hollywood Wrestling, I believe. He's been around for years. But I always knew this boy had it. He could talk, he had the right physique, and he just needed to work on being a ring general. He could wrestle, but being a ring general and wrestling are two different things. Here, you could see he's a ring general. He may not be the top tier one, but he easily is a ring general. He worked the match. Was some of his moves like Roman Reigns predictable? Of course they are. Not every time you're going to have something spontaneous. He's more of an old school style wrestler. He's not going to be doing a lot of flips. He doesn't do a lot of kicks. He's more of a ground type of wrestler. He just doesn't have the physique for that. He doesn't. But does not mean he's not damn good. And he was. And as the match progressed, and as you see him continue to build the people up and trying to get his elbow in, everyone was getting so anxious they wanted him to win. He almost won multiple times. And I know not everyone's going to like the false pinfalls. Many don't. But in this situation with LA Knight, it makes sense. He believes that he is the best, the greatest Kavorkia of wrestling today. If that made any sense. The ultimate Kavorkia, if that makes any sense. But I could see it so many years ago, around 2013? 13 or 15 when I first saw him? When did he win his TV title? I think 2013? Impact Grand Championship. That's the one he won. I think it was 13 or 14. He won that damn championship. He never won the main title. Never did. But here, you can see the polish. You can see how he got the people to care. Once Solo came out, but was stopped. Jimmy came out, tried to stop it. Jimmy got stopped himself. All great by a LA Knight doing it himself. He got speared multiple times. And in the end, he was put over. And Roman still retains. Because Roman at this time, where is he right now? 1167 or 60. 1160 days. He's short of Bruno Sammartino's run. The only one that's longer, and I believe it's Hulk Hogan at 14 days. So by next year, if they are doing what I think they're doing, they're going to make him the longest running champion in history. They're going to break Bruno's record, which is very close. Bruno's was 1,200 days, nearly 4 years. So he's close to it right now. And next year, if he's still retaining the title, he's breaking Hulk Hogan's record. If it's going near WrestleMania, he's going to break Hogan's record. There's no way he won't. He's going to break it. That's what they want. They want someone new to take over for Hulk and Bruno. Bruno, how many days is left for Bruno? Another 40 days for Bruno? By January, he'll break it. No, by December. My mistake. By near December, he'll break Bruno's record. And the only one that'll be left will be Hulk Hogan. He only needs another 200 days. 30, 60, 180. He can do it. I think he can do it by WrestleMania. I think he can. So, my big question is, what now for LA Knight? This is why I get nervous. Because they gave him his spot, which is a great spot. People loved him at Saudi Arabia. They loved him in that arena. But what now? What are you going to do with him? Who do you put him up against to keep his momentum? Or is he just going to be like this and stay like this until Royal Rumble? Because they may do that. They may just give him something to do a little bit, but he's just going to be doing filler until Royal Rumble. And then it's going to count on what they're going to do with him after that. Because, honestly, I'm worried for him. As much as I'm so glad that he's so over, he did a great performance in the ring, I am very afraid that he will just go, and they won't catch the wave in time. Because he's that over. He needs a championship. He needs something to do. I just don't know if they're going to do anything with him by, next year in Royal Rumble. They may do nothing with him after Survivor Series. He may just go cold. They do that. It's just going to hurt him. But it's just me. Tell me how you feel. Peace. And I should be doing Collision. If I don't do Collision, it's because I fell asleep. Peace.